Hello, I'm Laura Marshall.
And I'm Melinda Rose, and this is Light Matters for September 19th, 2012.
On this week's show, the most stable laser ever. A laser-based needle could take the ouch out of shots. The photonics community heads to Capitol Hill, and we share some notable awards news.
A laser so stable that its frequency varies by no more than 2 parts in 10,000 trillion will accelerate progress in developing optical clocks that operate at frequencies more than 10,000 times higher than the current worldwide standard. The laser was developed and tested by an international collaboration at NIST GILA and a group at PTB, NIST's counterpart in Germany. It represents an approach for constructing high-quality optical cavities that improve upon prior designs by more than an order of magnitude. The novel laser design also is expected to add a new level of precision to gravitational wave detection research and may be of interest to the communications industry since it operates at 1.5 microns, the wavelength with the lowest loss in fiber optic networks. Research on ultra-stable lasers typically employs some kind of optical cavity interferometer comprising a spacer with mirrors at each end. That design severely restricts the range of optical frequency that can resonate in the cavity. The new design substitutes single crystal silicon for the ultra-low expansion glass or fused silica usually used in cavity mirrors and spacers. Such an all-silicon interferometer can be made insensitive to temperature fluctuations and has a much lower mechanical loss compared to conventional optical glass. In tests, the all-silicon system surpassed the performance of any other optical cavities ever reported. The work appears in Nature Photonics.
The dreaded needle jab could become a thing of the past with a new laser-based system that shoots microscopic jets of drugs into the skin. Various techniques have been developed in hopes of making injections pain-free, but hypodermic needles remain the first choice for ease of use, precision, and control. The new system, developed at Seoul National University in South Korea, uses an erbium YAG laser commonly used by dermatologists for facial treatments to propel a tiny, precise stream of medicine with just the right amount of force. The laser is combined with a small adapter that contains the drug to be delivered in liquid form, plus a chamber containing water that acts as a driving fluid. A flexible membrane separates these two liquids. Tests on guinea pig skin show that the drug-laden jet can penetrate up to several millimeters beneath the skin surface with no damage to the tissue. The ultimate aim is the epidermal layer. At a depth of 500 microns, this region has no nerve endings, so the method would be completely pain-free. Currently, the system uses a laser with a wavelength of 2.94 microns, which is readily absorbed by water. Although other groups have developed similar injectors, they are mechanically driven, using piston-like devices to force drugs into the skin, and this gives less control over the jet strength and the drug dosage than the laser-driven microjet injector. The work was published in Optics Letters.
A few weeks ago, I brought you news of the National Academy of Sciences' new report, Optics and Photonics, Essential Technologies for Our Nation. A follow-up to the 1998 Harnessing Light report, the study recommends that the federal government develop an initiative to foster collaboration between academia, industry, and government, and to steer federal R&D funding and activities. Last week, members of the optics and photonics community headed to Capitol Hill to draw attention to the report. Essential Technologies for Our Future, Optics and Photonics Leading the Way, was sponsored by industry groups, the American Physical Society, IEEE Photonics Society, the Optical Society, and SPIE. Its purpose was to raise awareness of the importance of optics and photonics to key personnel in federal agencies such as the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the National Science Foundation, and the Department of Energy. Keynote speakers included U.S. Energy Secretary Stephen Chu, former Intel President and CEO Craig Barrett, and Harnessing Light 2 committee members. They all highlighted the key role optics and photonics technologies play in driving economic growth, creating jobs, and enabling future innovations to advance society.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the government steps up and takes action with this information.
And also how our industry does as well. It's a great stepping stone for creating a public-private partnership like they do in Germany, for example.
Yeah, definitely. Also on Capitol Hill last week, Nobel laureate and maser inventor Charles Townes was among 8 recipients of a new award celebrating researchers whose seemingly odd or obscure federally funded research turned out to have a significant impact on society. The Golden Goose Awards were presented September 13th in a ceremony on Capitol Hill. It was created by a coalition of organizations that believe federally funded basic scientific research is the cornerstone of American innovation and is essential to its economic growth. Townes, a physicist whose work led to the creation of the laser, was chosen because he spent a decade convincing others of the value of his research, including colleagues who told him it was a waste of funding.
In other awards news, pioneers in optical coherence tomography and adaptive optics for retina visualization received the 2012 Antonio Ciampolimo Vision Award in recognition of the technique's applications in vivo study, diagnosis, and monitoring. The OCT founders honored were James Fujimoto and Eric Swanson of MIT and David Huang of Oregon Health and Science University. Also honored for clinical application of OCT were Carmen Pugliafito of the University of Southern California and Joel Schumann of the University of Pittsburgh. The five shared half of the prize, about $630,000, to be split among them. The other half went to David Williams of the University of Rochester for his use of adaptive optics techniques for sharp focus on retinal cells, which enables in vivo counting of individual cone photoreceptors.
And finally, Melinda is going to be hosting a webinar next week on photonics.com.
Yes, it's on solar PV research, the latest in the lab and manufacturing, and our speaker is going to be Dr. Stephen Hegedus of the Institute of Energy Conservation at the University of Delaware. And if you'd like to attend, it's Thursday, September 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can either click on the link in this video to register, or you can visit photonics.com.
Should be a fun and informative event. Well, that's it for this edition of Light Matters, Photonics Media's weekly newscast. We'd like to hear from you. Tell us what you like or don't like about our program. We welcome your comments and suggestions at lightmatters@photonics.com.
You'll find links to share and subscribe to Light Matters by clicking the Share with Friends button on our video player.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.